see something I know.
Packing for a trip can be extremely stressful. Oprah-approved smart cookie and lifestyle expert Sandra Hanna is here to share some packing tips and techniques, I guess, to kind of take some of that stress away. Because especially with kids, it can be nutty.
It can be a nightmare, but we're going to try to simplify it today.
Okay, so we're talking two things. We're talking carry-on and check bag. And check bag is one of those things that you say you really should do.
You really should do. What we try to shy away from is jamming everything into your carry-on bag. Because what can happen is if you check a bag, that plane is not going to leave without you.
No, because they would have to get the bag off,
Exactly,
right?
they would have to get the bag off. And a lot of people get scared about, paying for the extra baggage fees, but you can get creative about this. For example, think about the credit card you're using or the charge card. I use an American Express Platinum card.
You can get points.
And I get points, and I get a $200 credit to use towards my checked bag.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so check with your card to see if they have those perks, because oftentimes they're hidden and it can save you the cost. And again, that plane's not leaving without you.
Okay. All right. So let's start here. Let's start with the carry-on, because this is where you're going to put a lot of your documents and stuff.
Exactly. So, and get a document sleeve, especially if you're traveling with your family. Keep all those documents in one spot. So that is key.
Okay.
And this is called a drop kit. So if you're traveling a lot, and even if you're just an occasional traveler, pack your travel size items and just leave them in your drop kit and have it. And you can go to Sephora or Kiehl's and they will give you samples of those travel size items. So just put them in your drop kit and keep it in your carry-on bag.
And of course we have to pay attention to the size of these, which is why you're saying
exactly. So
the travel size are perfect.
Exactly. Get the travel size. And then make sure you have an extra outfit, especially if you're traveling with kids, because we know how accidents can happen.
Yeah, I've made that mistake of not having the backups.
So have it, a sweater for yourself and then a little extra outfit for the kids you're traveling with as well. And just make sure you've also got, kid-approved toys and games, and lots of plastic baggies are actually key. You can use.
Yes.
You probably know.
Yes, we've even used them for the soiled clothes when we change their outfits.
Exactly, and snacks. Just shove as many snacks as you can into those little Ziploc baggies.
I love it.
You can never have too many snacks, okay? So that's your carry-on.
Okay.
Moving on to the checked bag. What you want to do is have a mixed bag, so you don't want every person in your family to have their own bag. Because if one gets lost, one family member is out all their clothes.
That's so true, and that has happened, and it's awful.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to avoid that. So go ahead and pack and pick one color palette for each family member. It'll minimize the number of items that you need to bring. So if we've got, dad coming, we'll pick gray. I go for black because honestly it's so easy.
The neutral's nice too because you don't have to pack as much, right?
Exactly. And if you're worried about the weight and going over, you want to make sure. And just bring a nice colored accessory or a scarf to jazz it up. And of course, space-saving techniques. Use every nook and cranny you can. So you've got your shoes, shove some t-shirts in there.
Good idea, as long as they don't smell.
Yeah, exactly. I made sure those didn't before I shoved my shirts in there. This is a neat trick too if you're worried about wrinkles. We all have dry cleaning bags in our closet. Put your items that are going to wrinkle a little bit more in those bags and just fold them over 2 to 3 times. It's going to wrinkle-proof them, so when you get to the hotel and unpack, you're wrinkle-free. Okay? And then, of course, put the heavier items towards the bottom. A lot of times if we're frantic at the airport, we've got a bag and it's toppling over and it's not balanced correctly.
That's awful. Yeah, and your kids try and sit on it and it falls over, and so do they.
Exactly.
That could be awful.
So you want to make sure you put heavier items towards the bottom of the bag. And then lastly, if you're going on a trip this summer and you're going to be doing some shopping and take advantage of all those deals,
many of you will, yes.
Bring an extra bag that can easily just smush down, and you can put it in your suitcase, and then you've got an extra bag to carry home all that loot with you as well.
Okay, perfect. We love your tips. Thank you, Sandra,
Thank you so
for being
much.
here. Our little Oprah-approved smart cookie. And you can actually find some of these tips and more, actually some tips about being savvy as well in her book, Smart Cookies Guide to Making More Dough. You can get that wherever books are sold, including Amazon.com. All right, let's check in with Trina.
Share